Oh, hey folks, how we doing? What, you thought I was gonna be in the box? Why would I get in the box? Paging Ronnie Fish Cakes. Anyways, I'm here today because there is a game that I played recently that was at times completely miserable and at other times one of the greatest story experiences I've ever played. I'm jumping straight to the point here. You saw the title and thumbnail, ergo you know this is a video about classic 1998 video game Metal Gear Solid. And I'm gonna warn you now, this is not exactly a glowing review. I did not despise 100% of the game, but if I had to rank it out of 10, it's about a 6 or a 7 for me personally. I'm gonna run through the aspects of why I didn't like parts of this game while still acknowledging the many good parts of the game that cemented it as a legendary series. Let's start with the good parts first, just because I don't want to start screaming like a minute into the video. If I were to break the game down into only two separate parts, I would break it down into artistry and mechanics. And the artistry is the part of the game that I adored. By that, I mean the story, the characters, the art style, and my personal favorite part of the entire game, the little details that are just there to enhance the environment. The level of detail that I found in the world of Metal Gear Solid is something that I noticed from day one. I mean, right after you've been successfully deployed on your top secret mission, one of the first things that you're greeted with is a puddle on the ground with perfect reflections. It feels silly that this is the first detail I mention, but you gotta remember that this is 1998 we're talking about here. They had just discovered how to make animals talk so they could film Babe, Pig in the City. And on top of that, they added functionality to the puddle. If you step in it, the sound of the splash will alert the guards. This small yet impressive feature tells the player right away that this game ain't fucking around. Any noise you make is a chance for the bad guys to track you down and fill you with bullets. And these little details are littered throughout the game. Let me real quick show you some of my favorite bits. Not only do footprints appear in the snow, but enemies can follow them straight to your location. So don't stand in the snow like a fucking idiot. As you're crawling through the vents, you can find these little rats that get spooked and run away from you. Observing enemy soldiers, you will find that they have animations for things like yawning, just to give them that little bit of humanity, you know? Like they literally have a part in the game where you are in a cell and the guard who's supposed to be guarding you is having really bad diarrhea, so he's not doing a really good job, to put it mildly. Details like that are what remind me that game design is an art form at its heart, and a team of developers can really put a lot of love and soul into a project. This is something that is really easy to forget, I find, especially with the state of AAA games in the 2020s. When it comes to the story, I'm not gonna spoil it. There's a metric fuck ton of video essays that are hours upon hours long, so if you want all the juicy deets, go to one of those. All that I'll say is that the story is very engaging, very well written, it doesn't waste your time, and Snake has good chemistry with all the main people that you talk to. Good chemistry makes the game flow so much better, and also, there were many twists and turns that I genuinely didn't see coming. I find that older games fall victim to having pretty simple and straightforward storylines, which is okay, but sometimes it makes them a little bit forgettable. Metal Gear did not have this problem. It's complex, yet still easy to follow, and it always keeps you guessing. I would personally even go as far as to call the story in Metal Gear Solid timeless. I feel like you can never go wrong with a story about a hero fighting to stop a regime of bad guys who possess a super powerful weapon. When I finally made it to the room with that super weapon, aka Metal Gear, chills, dude, it was hype. So that was the artistry portion of the game, and now it's time to talk about the mechanics. You see this smile? It's fake. I have legitimately had some of the most aggravating moments of my recent life while playing this game, and these days, I'm pretty much immune to being genuinely angry at video games, or so I thought. My most played game when I was in the 7th and 8th grade was fucking Overwatch. I've had more than my fair share of seething anger that most often got directed straight to the controller. After I made the decision to stop playing Overwatch, I was free from being angry at video games. Every loss, every bullshit boss fight paled in comparison to being hooked by 2017 Roadhog. That's how it was until Metal Gear Solid 1 came into my life. The combat especially got me right where it hurt. The top-down camera angle that you are seeing right now is the angle that you have to use for everything. Is there a guy down a hallway that you want to shoot with your pistol that is out of sight from the top-down perspective, but you can clearly see in first-person mode? Well, good luck hitting him, because you have to just blindly fire down that corridor and hope he takes a bullet or two. Oops, did you get spotted? Don't worry about it, happens all the time. Just take down the enemy and run away. Just kidding, bitch. We magically spawned a new enemy in the exact direction that you're running, and he knows you're coming, so get ready to be shot dead. And I know what you're gonna say next. It's a stealth game. Just do a stealth takedown. Great idea. Truly spectacular, except you forgot to take into consideration that the stealth takedowns fucking suck, because if you slightly bump into the back of the enemy when putting him in a hold, he will somehow telepathically transmit your location to every guard in the area. And half the time you go for a takedown, you end up just doing this stupid throw because both moves are mapped to the same button, so you just gotta hope that Snake does the thing that you want him to. One time I got caught in this loop that actually made me just put down the game for the rest of the day. I was stuck on this one shit boss fight against a tank where the gimmick of the fight is that you can't approach without being fucking blasted, so I spend about half an hour on this fight, and after that I'm left with no healing items. And one way to get more healing items is to whack some guards. So I figured the most danger-free way to get some more healing items was to find an area with a bunch of guards and do some stealth takedowns, some sneaky little snake work, you know? But for reasons I explained earlier, doing this was no easy feat. The amount of times I'd fucking slightly graze some fucker's shoulders, or Snake would just decide to throw the dude instead, because I think he throws him when you hit square when you're moving. So you have to come to a complete stop and then mash square to do the actual takedown. But it's like, oh my god, stopping on a dime and then mashing it, and then you're not close enough and you have to inch closer and closer, and then you just end up throwing him anyways. And when you do take down the guard, he only drops the healing item about like 30% of the time. So I wouldn't even get anything from killing them when I finally was able to. This all boiled over after I was on a hot streak of failing to hit the frame perfect takedown button, and when I finally grabbed a guy successfully, a trapdoor opened up beneath my feet and I fell and died. I know I made that Jet Set Radio video where I said that hard controls are good because it feels satisfying to master, but playing this feels like trying to master the art of smashing my testicles with a hammer, and I just don't want to do that. If you think this makes me a hypocrite, then that's okay, I'll put it on my tombstone, alright? But I did not fuck with the controls in Metal Gear Solid, to the point that it actively detracted from my experience. I kind of grazed over the topic of bosses earlier, but they were very hit or miss. The ones I liked were Ocelot, Grey Fox, Psycho Mantis, and Vulcan Raven. Those fights were really good. The rest were not. Actually, the final boss was good. It's a rare case when I actually enjoy a final boss. I'm weird like that, but this game smashed the final boss out of the park. Sniper Wolf, no, not that one, the one from the game. I fucking hated that fight. You have to really quickly pull a sniper, pop a pill, line up a shot, and take it. But if she shoots back, she hits you. She doesn't miss. And then your sights go all wonky and you have to re-line up the shot. And there are 2 of these fights. I mean, the second one's alright, because you can cheese it with the Nikita, but the first fight, complete dog shit. And the turn speed of the aiming is slower than trying to run neck deep in water. I could do my laundry by the time this thing fully turns. That's mainly the reason that I disliked the helicopter fight against Liquid. You have to blast him down with stinger missiles, but you have to slowly line up the shot and just pray he doesn't mow you down with the guns on that chopper. Towards the end of the fight, he's zipping all over the rooftop, and that's legitimately where I decided I'd rather replay the entire game on easy mode than continue how it was going. And this is the thing that baffles me. I was only on normal difficulty, meaning that there are 2 difficulties higher than the one I was playing on. A quick update from me in post. I replayed the fight on normal mode to get background footage of him zooming all over the place, and then I ended up beating the fight on my first try, so now I feel like an idiot for getting stuck on a helicopter guy. I might just be shit at the game. That's completely fine, you know, I'm okay with that, because still, I'd rather play on easy mode and enjoy the game that I bought rather than actively play something that makes me feel worse than when I started playing it. So yeah, all the background footage gathered for this video is my easy mode run, and this game on easy mode, 10 out of 10, dude. The easier enemies more than compensate for the problems I had with the controls. I couldn't possibly, in good conscience, call Metal Gear Solid 1 a bad game due to the numerous amounts of good parts that I talked about earlier, but I'd definitely say that it is outdated controls-wise, and I feel really bad to say that because, I mean, this was made in 1998. They were definitely working with some limitations here. I mean, those guys had just gotten those pigs to talk, but I mean, it's my honest opinion, for better or worse. This game is like a perfect shirt. It fits perfectly, it looks great on you, and it's really comfortable. 9 times out of 10, you will wear this shirt if it's available. But there's this big shit stain on it that you just can't get out, you know? Sorry if I spent all this time dogging on your favorite video game. I actually did buy the second game and the third game as well, so let me know if I should cover those ones next. I'm sure I'll have much less bad things to say about the next games, so yeah. And now for our next story, I seem to have forgotten my pants. Now going to Ronnie Fishcakes in the field.
Thank you, Ronnie. Yes, I seem to have forgotten my pants.
Hey, thanks for making it to the end. If you're watching these credits, that means you made it to the end of this video. It means you're really fucking cool.